No. Hi, this is Dr. Pachenik. Today I want to talk about how Trump literally aced out Nancy Pelosi in the midst of this government shutdown where 800,000 employees have not gotten their check. Nancy Pelosi, for reasons that are beyond my understanding, decided to go on a CODEL. Now, let me explain what a CODEL is. A CODEL is a congressional delegation that goes to a specific country. I was in the State Department, as you know. I was a senior official, and I was in charge, in many cases, of having our ambassadors represent the country that the Congress people were coming to, and literally having to act as a receptionist for the congressman or the congresswoman, utilizing all of our assets in the embassy, making things happen that in fact we didn't need to happen. We had to use our deputy chief of mission, the station chief, our political officers were all tied up, making sure that the congressional representatives were happy, pleased, entertained, and for maybe a few minutes they were involved with the key issues of a particular country. In this case, Brussels was the beginning point, and that was not an accident. Brussels is where they can go out, they can have a good time, the Congress people, and they can enjoy themselves. For the most part, they could care little about NATO. You can find out anything and everything you want about NATO on the internet, and they know very well they can get on the phone. The real issue here is that Nancy Pelosi is known for having these junkets all through her career. She had over 80 of them between 2009 and 2010. One of these CODELs cost us $185,000 in tax dollars. That means that when Nancy Pelosi is ordered to go on a private plane, as Trump had ordered her to do, she said no. And the reason why she said no is that her husband wouldn't pay for the flight, and she didn't want to use any of her own money to fly overseas. So think about what we're doing. We're basically funding a group of individuals who've done very little for our country, who have been very spoiled, who have nothing else to do, but they have enough time during a shutdown of the federal government to fly around the world and make believe that they're doing something positive for the United States. In this case, they would go from Brussels and understand what NATO is about, although they could read about it, they can go on the phone, or they can go on the internet, and at the same time they can go to Afghanistan and make believe that they know something about Afghanistan, when in fact many of them were against the war in Afghanistan. Many of them were funding the war despite the fact that they were against the war. And people like Engel and Adam Schiff, who were the major leaders of the Democratic Party, were in fact for the Iraq War, but none of them served in the military. In fact, the only person on that CODEL who served in the military that I know about is a woman by the name of Luria, a representative from Virginia who was a Navy commander, and I give her my respect. But in fact, she doesn't really need to go on a CODEL. If she wants to know about the national security issues in Afghanistan, in NATO, she can call up our intelligence officers in Virginia, as well as our ambassadors and our representatives in Washington, D.C. But for Nancy Pelosi, it wasn't enough. She needed to go on these boondoggles. She brought in a lot of booze, all kinds of alcohol, and Trump knew this. So he called her on it, and she was caught. And she was caught at a moment that this shouldn't have happened, because we have a federal shutdown. The employees have not gotten their money. That we're having an economic problem as a result of this federal shutdown. Let me just quote Mark Twain, who said, "Let me talk about stupidity and let me talk about Congress. Oh, why should I repeat myself? They're one and the same." Thank you, good night, and good luck.